Good morning, friends, wherever you are. I, of course, am Ben Ochart, and welcome to Cichlids and Coffee. And I appreciate you being here. Today is a very special day, as many of you know. Today is delivery day, so I'm kind of coming out of my skin here. I've got 6 people lined up to help with the moving of the tank, and at any rate, it's a pretty big day. If I can get a very quick check on sound and audio from one of the moderators, and please let me know how's the sound and how's the picture, please. And let's look through here. Good morning, Jenny Delgado is here. Hi, Jenny. First on the chat. If you don't have stickers, channel stickers, Jenny, just go ahead and drop me an email. I'll send you some channel stickers. And tell me your full mailing address at ben.o.cichlid@gmail.com. You folks having some coffee? I hope so. And Vibes Aquatics, thank you for today's coffee. Vibes Aquatics was kind enough to bring me a bag of coffee to Aquashella. Thank you, Vibes. Davey Larson. Hey, Davey. How are you? And Peas and Haps Forever is here. Had a question about bleaching. I'll tell you, when I use bleach, maybe I'm a little bit haphazard. I just throw a little bit in. Just throw a little bit in. I don't measure it. I've heard that the potentially dangerous things of bleach do gas off over a 24 to 48 hour period. So, be careful, but don't be overly worried. Definitely, I would use, let's say in a 5-gallon bucket, I'll use maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 tablespoons full, something like that. And that tends to be enough. And then, of course, after about a day or two, I give it a real good freshwater rinse, whatever it is I'm working with. And then I'll let it sit for 24 to 48 hours in water that has been treated, that has Fritz Complete or Seachem Prime, something in it. Let it sit for another 24, 48 hours. And then I give it another good water rinse, and then it's good to use. Never had a problem with that. And yes, happy Easter weekend to those of you out there who celebrate Easter. Happy Easter weekend to you. And hope you all had a good Friday. And Denny's. Hey, Denny. Good to see you, buddy. And still on the fence about whether I'm going to Knoxville at the end of the month. But for AquaCon, only because I have so much going on in here. But I'm hoping I can. Hey, In the Jeans. Good to see you. And Lisa's Tanked. Happy Easter to you as well. Carrie Pitt, good morning. And Tony Punch. What a great name, Tony Punch. And we did have some bad storms in the Jeans. We had a hurricane watch. Thank goodness nothing touched down, and it did dissipate. It didn't gather strength and then head over to Kentucky like it did last time. That was devastating. So fortunately, we ended up in good shape. And hey, Patrick Maloney is here. And let's see here. Hey, John. I've got some great moderators. John Wallace, Denny, GP will probably be here. And let's see here. Peas and Haps Forever. Just had a huge snowstorm. Wow. That's kind of late in the season, huh? GV Aquariums, Australia. Good day to you, mate. And let's see here. Amber Key. Hey, Amber Key. Good to see you here. Norris Williams is here. Good morning to you. And Fish Ranch and Michael Lotenero. I hope I pronounced that right. Lotenero. And Lisa Vibes. Okay. Well, I could be saying hi forever here. Tank Boss 5.9. Wow. Okay, good. And I always wonder where these names come from. 5.9. All right, let's see here. Hey, Joe. Joe's here. I sent you an answer to your question, Joe. I think you sent me an email. And thank you, Denny, for letting me know on the sound and on the video. I appreciate that. Hey, Ken. Ken's here. And Davey Larson. Vibes comes in with a $1.99 super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Paul. Paul Newman's here. Lefty 3213A. Oh, Dave Hibbert is here. All right, from Arcadia, California, my old stomping grounds. All right. So, hope you all shared the link. Looks like we've got 41 people on. We're hoping for, of course, somewhere in the 150 to 200 range is always better, but we'll go with this for now. And hope this hat doesn't block things too much. Got up really late, didn't have time to work on the mop, so I had to wear a hat. So let's go ahead and officially start this live stream. What do you say? If you're new to the channel and you like the content, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button and that bell so you get notifications. Now, just a quick announcement. I have heard that a lot of folks that are subscribed go and check and discover that somehow YouTube has unsubscribed them. So be sure to check that if you have subscribed in the past, because for some reason, I don't know why, YouTube will randomly unsubscribe people. And anyway, I've just heard that some of that is going on. So please check on that if you can. Quick shout out to the channel sponsor, my friend James. I am making arrangements to see him. It looks like it's going to be at the end of April. I think the weekend after Memorial Day, possibly. But I'm going to be going out to Arizona and filming his new location. Not new location, but new setup. He has all state-of-the-art dehumidifying equipment and water change equipment and big giant breeding tubs. And anyway, it's just he's just really spared no expense and didn't cut any corners. So that's going to be awesome. For those of you who would like to support the channel, I invite you to, let me just go down here, and I invite you to become a Patreon member, a Garage Gang member, like these wonderful folks right here. For about $3 a month, you can support the channel. $3 on up, and you can become a Patreon member of the Garage Gang. And let me see here. Also, if you shop on Amazon, consider using the Amazon link. And if you'd like teacups and T-shirts and hoodies and all that kind of stuff, visit my Teespring store where you can get mugs and shirts and all kinds of stuff, and all that supports the channel. I really appreciate all of you who do that. And that concludes today's commercial. We got to pay the bills. Got to pay the bills. So thank you, Patreon members. You guys rock, really. Well, all of you rock. Someone asked me the other day, how can I support the channel? I've already subscribed. You know what? If you subscribed, that's enough. That's plenty. If you'd like to do more, consider some of those other things. But those of you that have subscribed, that's awesome. And I'm very, very appreciative of it. So I was out and about yesterday, and I came across an enormous piece of lumber. Just a beautiful piece of driftwood. And see if I can pull it up here somewhere. You saw it on the I'll probably have to add it. Hold on one second. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. There it is. All right. Hopefully you folks can see it. This thing is enormous, and it is sitting outside of the garage right now. There were a few bugs on it and things like that, so I'm going to give it a good brush off, like kind of scrape it down. And I don't know how long it's been in water. It's all soft and smooth, and hopefully leaning it, I'll be able to fit it in the 300 gallon. But it is just a beautiful piece of wood. It almost looked like two pieces of wood. And when I picked it up, I was surprised that it was all one piece. I'm thinking it may have been a root, the way it's shaped. It looks like it may have been more a root than actually a part of a tree, but the way it's connected in different parts. But I'm going to have to give it a real good wash down, probably soak it in some, maybe some hydrogen peroxide, and just make sure there's nothing living on it. And what I wanted to know from you folks was if there was if there's any tips for those of you out there who have worked with driftwood. Do you have any tips for me? Any tips that I could use in being able to get it ready for the aquarium? I know I'm probably going to have to soak it, get tannins out of it, even though it looks pretty kind of bleached and white from just floating in fresh water for who knows how long before it washed ashore. And I found it near a lake. So I'm hoping it doesn't have too many tannins, but I've got these big black tubs that I have in the garage here for storage. They're very large. So I'm thinking I fill one of those up with just boiling hot water, dunk it in there for a few days, maybe put some hydrogen peroxide, really scrape it down really good, get all the nooks and crannies, make sure there's no critter that's going to sneak in. When we were bringing it home, we were getting little things flying around the car, which my son hates bugs, and he was getting all kinds of little bugs on him. But so it's a lot of fun driving it home for 2 hours. But any tips you have, if you've prepared wood for use in an aquarium, let me know. Let me know if you've done that. And that wood, I'm thinking to use that wood together with, let me see if I can find this other image for you. This is some of the substrate I'm thinking of working with, and you folks tell me what you think. I can find it here. There we go. This is called pea gravel, and it is available for like $3.50 for like a large amount. I don't know, 20 pounds or 50 pounds or some enormous amount for just pennies compared to what you'd normally pay for substrate. So something like a pea gravel. Now, I'd like to also add some maybe some white and black sand to it. So make it a mix of pea gravel, but also some black and white sand, just to kind of bring out different colors and also have that mix that'll bring out better colors in the fish. But that's what I'm thinking of it with for a possible substrate. I'll probably need, I'm thinking I'm going to need around 400 to 500 pounds of substrate for the kind of sand bed, for the number of inches of substrate I'm going to want in the aquarium. I'm probably going to need a lot of substrate. So I'll have it delivered to the house, and then we'll schlep it into, move it into the garage. But what are your thoughts about using a gravel like that? I was thinking of mixing in a little bit of that black diamond blasting sand, but I don't know. I mean, it's designed to be corrosive. It's designed to be sharp-edged, to be able to sand things down. And I don't know. I mean, whether I put South Americans or African cichlids, they're sifting. They're always moving the gravel around, it seems like. And I don't want to have anything in there that could potentially aggravate them. And I know you folks have said, okay, look, I've got it. I'm using it. There's no problem. So I don't know, maybe I'm worried about nothing, but I would like to use something that is smooth edged. So I'm not sure about the black diamond sand yet. I know I can get it very inexpensively. If I don't use that, I'll mix in a little bit of the Petco Imaginarium, if I can get it on sale at $22, $23 for a 20-pound bag. That's for a tank that big. That's a lot of money. That's going to add up. That's going to be a couple $100 before you blink, before you can even notice it. So if I can find that on sale, or if I can find a substitute, if you have an idea of a substitute, a black gravel substitute, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Thinking about mixing a little bit of white in there. So what do you think? I was thinking about play sand, but maybe play sand apart from not being white, it's a little bit more of a kind of a beige or a tan. But clay sand might just give me a problem with silica. And of course, you get silicates, you get silica with decor or substrate, you're going to end up with a brown algae, probably a brown algae, a problem that maybe even some bearded algae. That can be a real issue. So I'm leaning away from the play sand, even though I've got 5 bags that I bought initially when I got here, 5 50-pound bags. But I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to use that. So maybe some of that, some of the white sand that I have back here in the 55-gallon behind me here. Some of that sand might work. Not too much of it though, because when I use with using that sand, it just shows every little speck, and it can just look real messy, real quick. And so I don't want to. I don't think I'm going to go with too much white. Just a little bit of white. You can see there, just a little bit of white in the tank. And again, the white and the black would be put into the pea gravel just to get the fish to get a little more pop, just a little more pop. Now that's going to be also the black in the pea gravel is going to be to match with the background, because the tank is coming with a black vinyl wrap. In other words, the back of the tank is going to have a black vinyl wrap. Some of you saw the picture I posted. There's a I received a text from Joe asking me if I was ready for delivery, and you saw a picture of the tank there. Just an awesome tank, and it's going to have black in the back. Got a black waterline sort of stripe across the top, so it hides the top waterline, which is really good when you have a sump, because you're sometimes a sump, your waterline is maybe, I don't know, 1/4 inch from the top, 1/2 inch. So I have a stripe at the top. So I'm considering adding a little bit of the white. What I'm looking for really is I'm trying to get something comparable to this kind of a coloration here. You see what I got going on here? This is I just really like that substrate. And if you were here in person, the camera sort of makes it look a little bit more black and white. But if you were here in person, you'd see there's a very light tan. There's a very light tan in the substrate. And so what it does is all of the fish, it really kind of complements the colors in all of the fish. Kind of helps pull out those colors. The little bit of black in it does pull it together with that black Velomax background that I put on there. That Salvini is just amazing. The Nicaragua colors on the Nicaragua to me are just so pretty. They're so subtle. And of course the geos, and you can see the little Jack Dempsey there on the right. Little female, just really pretty. Just the little spots on her. She's really shy when it comes to eating. She's a little bit like the Fusco in the 210-gallon. Just kind of hangs back. When everybody's done, she goes around and kind of pecks what's on the bottom. She doesn't really get into the wild mix of the feeding frenzy. And of course that Vieja kind of dominates the feeding. We'll see what happens when the big blue Zonatus, who's a lot more aggressive, gets added. There's the red shoulder Severum. Very shy, seldom comes out, but you're getting a look at him. There's one of the Geos, Syrimanensis. There's an AC Hecali and another Geo in there somewhere. But that Salvini is just really popping. There we go. Okay. So what are your thoughts? I want to get your take on it. This is truly an appeal. I really want to know from you, how do you prepare wood before you put it into a tank? Is there anything I absolutely have to know about? I don't want to make a mistake and then have all my fish die of some rare wood-borne parasite. Also, what do you think about substrate choices? Some of you have said go with straight black. Others love the substrate in the 90 gallon and have suggested I go with a combination like that. So let me know. Let me know in the comments, in the chat, what you think. If you're watching this on the replay, go ahead and put it in the comments, because I will be reading those comments, and I am going to be jumping on pretty quickly onto the picking up things for the tank. The first order of business is going to be to cut the pipes and to get the substrate, or get the sump ready. And I'm debating whether going with a 40 breeder or possibly something larger, like a 55 or a 75 gallon as a sump. The 40 breeder did seem like it would be adequate. It's a good size, and I want something that's big enough to really add some water volume, bigger than the 29 I'm using here, which seems to be doing a great job, but is not adding a lot of water volume. But something that adds more water volume to the 300, and also in the event that I need to pull it out with, with some things in it, it's not too bulky. It's because I've got it to get it under a stand that has cutouts in the front, so I've got to go over those cutouts and in. I'm not cutting out the back of the aquarium stand. I'm not going to cut out the back. The back of the stand, it really helps to mute the sound, the noise of a sump. So I'm going to try and keep it as intact as possible, and only cut out holes where I need to run plumbing or hoses through, and otherwise try and keep the back as intact as I can, like I did with this tank here. I only have cutouts in areas where I need to run electrical cords and plumbing, and otherwise the back is sealed. So it keeps it, you can't hear this sump at all, and there's a reason for that. So apart from the fact that the Synergy sump system is pretty quiet, it's it's just it's called a Herbie overflow system, and it's a very quiet system. It has 3 overflow pipes that come down. One's the main, then it has a secondary, and then it has an overflow in the event of a blockage. So it's just a very solid, foolproof system, very, very quiet, and I'm really happy with it. And that's a Synergy is being delivered along with the tank. So the tank will already have a background on it. That's going to save me some time. I would have to take the time to cut and place a background like I did with these tanks. I'm not going to have to do that. It's coming already with a black background. It'll have the Synergy hardware, which I'll just need to attach, and then start cutting the plumbing, gluing and cutting and doing all the things. So I'll have a table set up in here, like a workbench, or maybe on the other side of the tank. And then I'll document some of it in video, so you folks that are interested in possibly doing a sump, you'll be able to see some of the things that I did. All right, let me look at your comments and see what kind of suggestions that you're giving me. For the tank here. Looks like I might have missed a few super chats too. Let me take a look here. All right, let's see. Vibes. I got Vibes. Thank you, Vibes, twice. Thank you, Vibes. And hey, Carrie. Carrie comes in with a nice super chat just because I love your channel. Thank you, Carrie. That's very sweet of you, and I appreciate that. Let me tell you, I just love all the support and encouragement I get on Instagram, here on YouTube, when I post a video. You folks you're just the best. You're just awesome, and it keeps me fired up. Hey, John, thank you so much. Yes, thank you. I don't have a, with some of my stuff, look, full disclosure, with some of my stuff, I get a lot of help. With the aquarium, I'm getting some help between a good discount and some help from the cichlid check. I'm getting some help on the aquarium, with food and filtration, things like that. I get help from sponsors, but gravel, that's going to be out of my pocket. So, so the gravel fund is very appreciated. And on the other stuff too, there's a lot of out of my pocket too, but it's good to get the help. Hey, Amber. Amber comes in. Substrate fund. Messed up and used an inexpensive substrate and regretted that choice for months. Amber, what happened? I'm curious. Why did you regret it? What turned up with that substrate that makes you wonder or made you regret doing that? Was it silicate? Was it did you have silicates create brown algae? Did you not like the look of it? Did it take forever and it never really cleaned? I mean, some people tell me that they buy an inexpensive or an off-brand and they can rinse it for 100 times and it's still dirty. I'd be curious for you to tell me why did you regret that? And Gia Aquatic and Pet, thank you, my friend. I appreciate that a lot. And not sure what that little symbol is in front of it, but thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate the help on that. Very nice of you. And Robert Egan, video stages of the setup for the 300. Okay. All right. $9.99 for video stages, like a subscription. You just subscribe to video stages. And I will try and do that. I will. Some of it can be a little bit tedious, cutting pipe and gluing pipe, and I'm not sure how much detail you want to get into, but maybe I'll release a summarized, speeded up version, and then I'll release, for those of you who, let's say, are embarking on a Sump project, I'll release a more detailed step by step, and you folks can choose what video you want to watch, and one will be like an hour and one will be like 30 minutes or 20 minutes. And yeah, okay, Robert. I'm with you. I appreciate those super chats. Thank you, everybody. That's awesome. I'm going to let me look. And Robert is saying sand only. Go with sand only. Sifting might be a problem. Let me see, from Amber Key. Ray Cooper, I use aragonite. Now, Ray, what about using aragonite with South American and Central American? I mean, what are your thoughts about that? I mean, you're hardening up the water a little bit. Might be increasing pH. Get more calcium, magnesium in the water. What do you think about that? Do you think that would be okay with South and Central Americans to use aragonite? I've heard that should be used exclusively with if I go with African cichlids. Now, I'm pretty sure James is going to make a strong case. He really wants to move the African cichlids into the 300. He'd like to see that. That's what he's been lobbying for, which means I would take the substrate from the, take this substrate and just move that substrate over, a cupful, a bucketful at a time, move it over to the 300 and then add a lot more crushed coral, black and white aragonite, crushed coral to kind of fill it in, because it's going to have a couple extra feet right in each direction, or 1 foot wider, I think another foot in width. But he's suggesting I transfer over the aragonite, which will give me, really, I think will give me, and if I bring the FX6 over too, that will give me an instantly cycled 300-gallon tank. Move all the African cichlids over, and then add the sand and pea gravel combo to the 210, and then make the 210 probably a South, maybe a South American tank, or whatever the maybe more Central America. The less peaceful Like I know the viejas go into Central America, Mexico. Not really sure where the Salvini comes from, and the Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey has been a peaceful fish. I'm not even sure if I'll transfer him over at first. But the 90 will keep the Severum. The 90 will continue to hold. 90 will continue to hold the Severum. And let me go ahead and take you off here so you can see better. The 90 will hold the Severum, the Geos, the AC Hecali. I'll bring over the 2 gold Severums, the 2 redhead Tapajos, the electric blue Acaras. So that'll be what'll be in the 90. That Jack Dempsey is really a mellow gal, so I'm not really sure. But then again, she holds her own, so nobody really messes with her. So she might be good to go over to the 300 or the 210. Salvini for sure has to come out. That she's got a lot of attitude. I mean, right now you can see it's pretty peaceful. I'm throwing a lot of surveys your way. I'm asking you folks for a lot of advice today, but what do you think? Do you think I should? I mean, go ahead. Let's do a quick little vote. A quick little vote here. South Americans in the 300 or African cichlids in the 300? Go ahead and comment in the chat. And I'm telling you, I'm taking it all into account. It's a clean slate right now. It's a clean slate, and it's going to require. It's not going to matter because it's going to require a lot of work regardless. Whether I bring them over from the 90 or I bring them over from the 210, it's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of moving of fish and putting fish in tubs while I'm removing substrate so they don't get so worked up, and it's going to require a lot of moving parts. So, effort-wise, it doesn't matter to me which way we go. So you tell me, what do you think? Do we go with the new tank? Do we go South American or do we go African cichlids? Great problem to have. And I really thank the folks at Glass Cages for the wonderful price on that tank and the help from James on that tank. And anyway, I'm pumped. I've got 6 guys coming to help move it. I've got pizza, sodas, beer. We're going to have basically a tank moving party. I am going to film it and I'll post it. I'll post it to YouTube, and you folks can see us bring it in. And I've set it up so we can back the van right up to the stand and get it up on the stand and rotate it over, and hopefully nobody gets a hernia, and hopefully we don't drop it. And then once it's on the stand, then everybody has to get around it and lift it like an inch or 2, and somebody has to go behind it and put the mat in. Because if you have the mat on the stand, when you put the 850-pound tank on it and you slide the tank, the mat just crumples up. It just turns into just a mess. So we got to put the tank on the stand, then everybody gets around it, and then we all lift it. We're going to have these professional glass moving handles, those big suction cups, right, that you dial down, and we're all going to lift it up, and somebody's going to slip that mat in so it's perfectly all the way tucked in. So you'll see it on video, and hopefully it'll be smooth with no mishaps. All right, let's take a look at your comments here. Sean says, let me see, all other Americans, right to the 300. Jerry says, film the beer part. Hey, Jerry, have you folks checked out Jerry's Fish Room? Be sure to check out Jerry's Fish Room. He's got a lot of good stuff going on there. Brand new channel. He's coming to visit here pretty soon. Jerry Martin and I are going to go visit the Glass Cages, spend some time with Joe, and then that Saturday, Jerry's going to sit in on a live stream. So you'll be able to ask us both some questions in a live stream setup. Robert, 850 pounds is the estimated weight. 850 pounds. This is a lot heavier than, let's say, a Marineland, a comparable tank, maybe by Marineland, something like that. I'll tell you why. They're using 3/4 inch glass. It's low iron glass, 3/4 inch low iron glass. Plus, it has Euro glass bracing on top. It doesn't have plastic strips, right? It's all glass on top, and along the top edge, it's all braced. And then on the bottom, all on the bottom edge, it has another layer of glass bracing, and then it has reinforced corners where they take a triangle, a long triangle, looks like a giant glass stir stick, but it's a triangular, and that is pushed into all the corners to further reinforce it. The theory being is that the number of square inches of silicone adhesive is going to give you a stronger tank. And like was discussed with James just bought a bunch of 75-gallon tanks from Glass Cages. He said these are battleships. He said these things will never fail. He can't imagine them leaking. I mean, there's always an exception, right? But he just says these tanks are gonna, and they're, 50% to twice as heavy as a normal 75-gallon you would buy. He said the things are just so beefy, right? And then they have the glass lids, and so they're 850 pounds. So there's 6 of us. Divide 6 into 850. You'll see how much each of us is responsible for, and I'll be on there too. So I'll be handling probably 50 pounds of it. So anyway. Chattanooga Ed, it would be great to have you here, buddy, and I just hope you're getting better. I just hope you're getting better, my friend. Thoughts and prayers and vibes and all that good stuff. So, John says, get a true parrot. I've seen true parrots, and I think they're actually, this is just my opinion, I think they're prettier than the genetically modified parrots. John Wallace suggests that we save the beer drinking for after the lift. Yeah, you're right. I tell people never drink before you do a water change, because inevitably you will flood the place. So Lisa's tanks, thank you, Lisa. Yeah, we're going to be having some fun. You'll see the video, and fingers crossed. Mohammed Hisham, I hope I pronounced that right, my friend. Can geophagus go with peacocks and haps? I would say no. For 2 reasons. One, I think the peacocks and haps would harass the geophagus. Geophagus being usually far more peaceful. Also, your geos need a softer, a lower pH. Sure, they could probably adapt. Maybe they can adapt to a higher pH, but I think they'll thrive a little better if you keep them with the in the parameters, the water parameters that they really, really should be in. Looks like I've been hiding here on the chat. I'm not hiding. I'm just shifted over. There we go. Now I'm participating in the chat along with my fish buddies below me. Robert, I saw the tank at Glass Cages and I fell in love with it. And it happened to be glass. Acrylic would have been a lot lighter, a lot easier to move, a lot more expensive. One of the reasons I was going with acrylic before was it's more see-through and it's lighter. With low iron, I pretty much match up the see-through issue, and weight is not an issue because I'm in my garage with a concrete floor. So weight is no longer an issue for me. It was an issue in California, where my tanks were sitting on hardwood floors. And so, yeah, weight was the main, and, cost is a factor. They do make acrylic tanks at Glass Cages, and they'll make them any size you want. Almost every tank they make is a custom size tank. So just keep that in mind. And for those of you who watched one of my prior videos, I included the diagram, the blueprint of the tank I'm getting. So you can see all the dimensions, the cutouts for the overflow and the returns. So every tank, you call them up, you say, look, I've got a space. The space is this many inches by that many inches. I need this much space for filtration. And you work together and you come up with a design that matches your situation, and they will make the tank as a single custom-made tank. And this is why you do get some price differences, because every tank is a unique, one of a kind. They can certainly make standardized size tanks, and if you placed a large order, like James did from the Cichlid Shack, you could get a better price, but you're gonna pay. You'll pay more for a custom tank for sure. All right. So I'm gonna scan through here and see what your comments are. And hey, Jordan comes in with a super chat. Thank you, Jordan. I appreciate that. And let me go over to all right, let's see. Fish Ranch. Thank you, Fish Ranch. You say Africans to the 300. That's the case that that James is making, primarily because of this guy here. Where assuming that trout has a nice long life in my tank, he could get up over 15 inches and just be a big beast. And James seems to think that he would be a lot happier in that 300. But keep in mind, I might be adding some Oscars. I love that red tiger and the albino Oscar, and they get massive. So I might be trying out some small Oscars that can grow up with the other fish and not, like be sort of subdominant and grow up in the tank. I might add some Oscars, and because I love the red tiger. I love the pattern on it, and I really love the so I'm gonna need a lot of room. And a couple of Viejas, a couple Oscars, Salvini, a big JD. Eventually eventually my green tear is going to get a good size. So that could fill up this tank pretty well. And it would certainly be nice in a 300. So we'll see. I'm like, I may just end up just flipping a coin, because I can make a strong case for both. All right, so let's see what your questions are. And Jordan, I did thank you for that super chat. Very nice of you. You support the channel that way. Fish Ranch, also, thank you for that super chat. Robert Egan, thank you for that super chat. And we did do Gia Aquatics. Okay, let's see what your questions are. Go ahead and hit me with your questions, and I'll look at the chat and see where we're at here. Yeah. I'd like to get two. John Wallace is saying for your Oscars, I've heard keep 1, 2, or 4 plus. And I am thinking about 1 red tiger and 1 albino. And just get a small 3-inch, 4-inch of each one and just let them kind of grow up in there. So I'm perusing the chat here. Alec Kumanoff, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Alec says that the Marinelands 300s have a reputation of leaking and bursting. Sounds like Glass Cages builds them like the old oceanic tanks, or even better. Yeah, some of you know Adam C. Check out Adam C. Has a wonderful channel on YouTube, beautiful fish. And he had a beautiful 300-gallon, came downstairs, and the bottom center, so there's no way to drain the tank to a certain level and repair it. It was the bottom middle was leaking. So he had no choice but to move the fish all out, drain the tank. But to their credit, Marineland did make good on it. They did replace the tank, but that's a lot of work, a lot of upset. Jerry says that geos do adapt, and he is against geos and African cichlids together. I think that'll be the general consensus that you'll get, only because I think the African cichlids will be too hard on those geophagus. Yeah, Marcus McClung makes a very good point. I finally have an African cichlid tank where the fish seem to be getting along, and the question is, do I want to mess with it? So that's a valid point. That's a very, very good point. Do you mess with that? I do want to add some more fish. I think as far as African cichlid tanks go, it is a little bit too lightly stocked right now. I am going to be reintroducing, you can see them behind me here. Turn this light. Can you see Skittles there? Skittles is going to be going back in the 210. I'll probably put him in at the same time that I put the eye biter back in. The eye biter is ready to go back in. He's all eating and being himself. And so we'll have a couple extra fish in there. I am probably going to pull out the Fusco. I'll probably pull out the Fusco. And not sure if you can tell, but Fusco's just been a little bit too shy recently. The Fusco, if you can see him in here, I don't know if you can see him. He's back there in the corner. He's been real shy and a little bit hesitant to eat. And he still looks nice and beefy, and he doesn't have a sunken belly, but he's just being a little bit too tentative. So I remember with the my little Taiwan reef here being chased by the tangerine tiger. Little Taiwan reef, really cute fish, very interactive. And I remember I pulled him out for about a week, and then he sort of got himself together and started eating. And you remember that video, what do you do with a fish that won't eat? You know, fish won't eat. What do you do? And I said first I would try feeding him something that he can't resist. Well, he went ahead and started eating frozen krill like crazy. So I shifted him over from the frozen krill then over to pellets and flakes. And after about a week or two of just showing that he was back to eating well and being himself, I put him back in the tank, and he's done well ever since. He is one of the smaller fish in there, a lot like the bicolor 500. And that's what I'm going to be watching. I'm going to be watching the OB when I put him back and make sure he's not going to be harassing the bicolor 500 or the Taiwan reef. He's a bully fish. He'll pick out the smallest kid on the playground and then just go bully him. So I'm going to have to watch him really closely. All right. Any more questions? Let's see here. Looks like we got up over 100. Did we get over 100 people on the stream? That's always good. And then we'll pick up some more on the replay. So let's take a look here. Any more questions for me? Go ahead and ask them. Jordan LaBelle, what I had to do when I had plecos in with my African cichlids, I used to keep, I had a plain, like a standard green pleco. I had bushy nose. Back in California, I had albino bushy nose and a regular bushy nose. Some people call them bristle nose. What I'd have to do is I'd have to feed the cichlids all to one side and then drop in a wafer. But sometimes that wafer would get intercepted. It was really fun watching the African cichlids play keep away with the wafer. But it was not fun for the plecos because they were not getting their wafers. So I ended up creating an area in the tank like a cave that only the pleco could fit in. And then I would literally 3 or 4 times a week, you don't need to do it every day, but 3 or 4 times a week, I would reach down in there and I would throw a couple pleco wafers into that area, and then the pleco would be able to get in there and eat them and not be disturbed by the African cichlids, because they will intercept the wafers and they'll play with them. I'm having, interestingly enough, in my community tank, I have a couple, I think they're called blue laser cories, really pretty little cory fish. I want to get a few more of them. I'd love to have between 4 and 6 in there. But there's a little shrimp pellet that is designed specifically for cories. And I dropped 3 or 4 in there, and a rummy nose will come over and grab one of them. And the thing is bigger than the rummy nose's head. And he'll carry it around. And then the little Jack Dempsey, or the little green terror that I have in there, that little baby green terror, will come around, take it from him. And so anyway, they're playing soccer in there. It's hilarious. Fortunately, a few of them do get through, and the cories are able to munch on them and get extra nutrition. And so same problem. In any aquarium, anything you drop to goes to the bottom is open season, right? So maybe get a couple cory cave, a couple pleco caves, right? There's I'll show you. I think I got one. You can get these. These are from the aquarium co-op. These guys, that's their pufferfish. And I'm going to call up Corey and Zenzo and tell them, hey, guys, I'm always giving you guys a shout out. How come you guys don't give me a... Anyway, here's a pleco cave. See, the back is sealed. So once the pleco gets his big head in there, and fills it up, those peacocks and haps, they're not going to get in there. So drop one of these in the back corner of the tank, and you can see it's just enough room for a pleco to. Once a pleco's crowding it up, it's and you can reach down there, tilt it up just a little bit, drop a couple pellets in there or a couple wafers, and then drop it down. Pleco. After a while, the pleco will know what you're doing, and as soon as your hand goes in there, they'll come over to the cave. They'll learn, and as soon as your hand comes out, they'll rush in, and so the other fish will not have a chance to pirate, to sequester and steal the food. So get a pleco cave, or you can use any kind of decor that you like that is similar in shape or size, and use that as a pleco cave. So it can get kind of fun, once you train the fish, they'll go right in there. I used to have an eye biter. I used to feed him at the back corner of the tank. I'd feed everybody at the front, and he was a real finicky eater. And then I'd get a couple little pieces of krill or something at the back corner. So everybody would run to the front to get the pellet food, and the eye biter would go to the back corner and wait for me. And then I'd come over and he, his snout was practically outside of the tank. Which reminds me, by the way, the chocolate cichlids in the 55-gallon behind me, those fish will come up out of the water all the way up to their gills, their eyes, mouth, and all the way to the back of their gill plates. They'll come out of the water and grab food out of my hand. A couple times they've attached themselves to my finger. I can only imagine. They get pretty big. They get a good size. So it's going to be really interesting, hand feeding those guys. I don't know how sharp their teeth get, but anyway. All right. Jordan, I hope that helped. I've had that same dilemma before. Okay, let's see here. John Wallace picked up some extreme cichlid pellets from Super Cichlids. Great customer service and fast delivery. Thanks for the plug. Lisa and her family, it's a family-owned business, Super Cichlids. They are the sponsor of the monthly banner contest at the Ben O' Cichlid group on Facebook. Love Lisa and her family. Love that group, and definitely check them out. Super Cichlids. You can also get it from, of course, anything. The Extreme is also available at the Cichlid Shack. You can do your own price comparisons. With the Shack, you would get a 10% discount with Shack Attack 10, but I don't know how their prices stack up when you add shipping or whatever, so, do your shopping. And by the way, I spoke to James. He did say he's going to be carrying some of the Sarah product. Even though when I went to Petco, if you saw that on that last video, they were loaded with Sarah product. They had Sarah filter media, Sarah food. They had tons of Sarah stuff. So Sarah is definitely making some inroads into the U.S., which is very good. Vibes Aquatics. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Let's get the like button popping. This is the best live stream of the year. Oh, gotta love you, Vibes Aquatics. You're the best. All right, my friends. So it's 12 o'clock, and though normally I don't mind going a little longer, I've got some pizzas and drinks to pick up. I still got to make a couple little tweaks here in the room. I've got to move the cars so that there's a lot of room to get the tank in. And so I'm going to have to end off on time today, as much as I'd like to spend another half hour with you. But thank you, everybody who's shown up. You folks are really the best. And I thank you to everybody who super chatted, everybody who gave it a thumbs up, and all of you who have subscribed. Thank you for that support. Special shout out to the Cichlid Shack, of course, and also to all of my wonderful Patreon Garage Gang members. Thank you very much, folks. And with that, I think we will go ahead and wrap up. Man, this hour went by really, really fast. I go into it every week thinking, I hope there's an hour of stuff we can cover, because I'm feeling a little bit light this week, but here we are. It's already been an hour. So thank you, everybody. You really do rock. I appreciate you very much. Thank you for the views on the most recent videos, and the wonderful support and comments and encouragement in the comments under those videos. And Fish Room's never going to be the same. I'm pumped. Bye, everybody.